Hello, everyone. Welcome to Football Uncensored. We are live again. This is probably the first panel debate show we've had in a long time on this channel. So, welcome back. A few familiar faces, of course. Giuseppe from Sicilian Gunner TV, Arsenal fan, as you know, unfortunately. Another unfortunate event. Kevin Ritchie, he is a Man U fan. But listen, it is what it is. We got who we got. But that's actually a familiar face, Kevin. We had shows before a long time ago. I was doing Newcastle stuff. Now I'm back doing Premier League to the Premier League action. So I'm delighted to have new faces as well. Henry from World of Football, Liverpool fan. Welcome, mate. How you doing? Doing good?
Yeah, doing
right
good,
on.
doing good.
Right on. And of course we got City Bevo TV. Is that how we say it? Bevo?
Bevo, yeah.
Mark.
Yeah.
Well, we'll call Mark, of course. Welcome back, man, for the first time. Welcome for the first time to the channel. How you doing, mate?
Everything good? Thanks, Nick. Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, excited to get onto it.
Excited to start this project, man. And of course, we got to talk about the England manager. I know, Kevin, you might not like this idea, but we're gonna get into Man U in a minute. No worries, man. But I wanted to get you repeat everybody else's opinion on the England because listen, we don't have that problem. We got rid of our Southgate, Berhalter. We got rid of him.
We have a bigger issue here in America, so.
Yeah, we got bigger stuff. We got bigger fish to fry here. Yeah, you're right. But I saw this on Sky Sports News that Ange Postecoglou might be is linked with the England job, and of course Postecoglou has shut down reports linking him to England. But I want to get your take on this situation, Giuseppe. Man, you've been busy streaming all day today, so hopefully you're not too tired, man. But you've been very vocal on England. I've seen you. I've watched you. And would you entertain the thought of, taking away your rival's manager, your rival's coach?
It would be interesting to see England with the attacking style of Ange Postecoglou. It's literally going from one extreme to the other extreme in the Southgate pass left, pass right, pass back to forward. The attackers will play where the defenders will play. Like, do you know what I mean? The attackers play. Kane plays in our half for England, and in that one, John Stones will play in their half. So. Listen, I'm not sure about Ange Postecoglou. I think that's just little rumors going around. But I think Southgate had to step down, had to be sacked, whatever it was that happened. He stepped down. I think it had to happen. Like, people want to say he succeeded. No, he didn't, in my opinion, because he never beat anyone of relevance. As you know, I'm dual national. I'm England and I'm Italian. So listen. At the same time, I had that final. I had that 2021 final. And I was there watching both teams, and I was like, it was like the worst final ever for me. And I went into that game saying there's no way England should lose that game. And I support, and it's no bias. It weren't even a bias thing because I like both teams. There was no reason for England to lose that game on home soil in Wembley. By far the better team on paper, but the manager's just not good enough to get over the line. As soon as he plays someone decent, he crumbles. And it shows on the pitch for me. The team crumbled in the final again for me against Spain. We didn't get battered. We put up a fight, but let's be honest, we got a Palmer strike out of nothing, which was a great strike. Apart from that, I can't remember another time where we looked like we were going to get a goal. And then as soon as we went one up, they were just on us again. We didn't even impose ourselves. That's what pissed me off. Because when that goal went in and it went 1-1, I generally thought we were going to win. I thought England are going to go and win it now.
Just there, just for what you're saying there, is I agree 100%. But didn't you see when Southgate, when he put the subs on and Palmer came on, the team looked more lively? Just the basic thing is the man didn't play for 8 years a single lineup of 11 people with balance.
Yeah. No, 100%. And listen, the fact that Kane played the whole tournament was abysmal. It was a disgrace. He was crap. The whole tournament, he was crap. I don't care that he got 3 goals.
Yeah, but how easy? So, but taking out with the captain, the striker of the Bundesliga,
never be the captain. Then listen. At the same time, you got to do what you got to do to win. And then, do you know what made it even worse for me? When he come out at the end of it, and he didn't even make himself sound better. It was like, yeah, Kane was injured. Kane had had an injury. So why are you playing him, brother? That makes it worse. Get out, bro. Leave, bro.
Yeah, it didn't make no sense.
You ain't got balls. You need balls in international football. That's the one thing that people that succeed in international football have, because you can't install too many tactics into the team. But what you need to do is have balls to make big decisions and play. Look at the Spain team. Half the team was Real Sociedad players. They could have said, "Oh, we're just going to go for all the Barca guys, all the Real Madrid guys, and then shove them all in." And then they had a balanced team of half the team. People were like, "This guy don't look at mate, like don't before seeing him won't be amazing," and they were all great players, bro. England have it. The fact Gordon didn't get a minute on the pitch as well is a sackable offence for me. I know he's your boy, Chris. I know he's your boy, but like the fact that we didn't play a left winger 1 minute in the game in the whole tournament, and we had Foden stinking up the left hand side because that ain't his position, was unbelievable for me. And it's just Foden was getting stick, rightly so. He's a world-class player. He needs to do more. But at the same time, I thought he was set on fire by Southgate, and then he was like, "Put yourself out, mate."
All right. Well, let me get to then Mark. Tell me, I mean, you can answer. What do you think about Foden's performance in the World Cup? And of course, the managerial stuff.
I think overall, I don't think any of the front line particularly had a great tournament. I thought, with the exception of Bellingham, with a couple of moments, like 3-second period where he scored that goal, and I think the majority of the games he went missing, wasn't fantastic. But then again, the same for Kane, the same for Foden. What I would say about Foden is obviously I'm going to be biased because obviously I watch Foden on like a weekly basis more than I watch any other player really. But I think for me, like they weren't getting the best out of him in the sense of nobody was kind of trying to make that forward pass to him. There was opportunities where Rice had, that Bellingham had, where he was in space, and the thing which Foden's the best at is getting that ball on the half turn, and then being able to turn in space and whip off a shot. By the time they eventually found him, he was crowded. He had 3-4 players around him, and they need to be finding those passes through to break the lines a bit more. But again, Foden had a couple of moments. The thing is, he gets stick, but look at that chance that he had. I think it was against the Netherlands. Just on the outside of the box. If that would have gone in, it would have been remembered as probably England's moment of the tournament. It's fine margins, and that's football. But again, off the back of the season that he's had, he should have been playing better, but so should everyone else.
Henry, how you doing, man? What do you think about England's performance? This whole, obviously, I would assume, I'm just assuming that you would be a Southgate out guy. I mean, just because 90% of English folks are.
No. For me, it's a bit because even though I'm English, I don't support England because I'm just like Giuseppe. I'm double nationality. I'm half French, half English. Oh. So for me, ever since I've watched football, I've supported France. But just seeing the way Southgate plays, I know he's got to loads of finals, that kind of stuff. But like, it's reminding me a little bit of what I'm seeing in Deschamps right now, because he was very, 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 very what's the phrase? Not strict. I'm trying to think of the phrase. It's like
stuck in his ways.
Yes, that's it. He was stuck in his ways. Like, for example, we have an attacking right back in Klaus. He plays Koundé instead. I understood why he put up McConnell and Saliba because Canade was sick before, and then they didn't concede a single goal. So why would you change a very good defense? And then he was just, not playing Giroud and that kind of stuff. And for me, I kind of see the similarities with what Southgate is, stuck in his ways. And I think he's never got over the line. So
well, that's the bottom line. That's it. It's not even if England, in my opinion, if England would have played decent, you got to count. It's 8 years with the same guy, and you cannot cross the line. It's simple as that. Because at the end of the day, football's got to be about winning. You know, in the first time around, you get to the finals. All right, let's give this guy all the support, you know, because he needs more time or whatever. But 8 years in, and you still can't cross the finish line, and you're losing with different types of teams, and obviously now he didn't convince. You know, the whole tournament, you know, he just the team wasn't there, and you're talking about elite footballers, man.
What I would say, Chris, just sorry, what I would say really quickly is that if we look at the elite teams that were playing in the Euros, I would probably, slightly controversial, but I'd probably argue that England had the best selection of attacking players out of any other team.
Yeah.
You know, if you think about the options that we have, you know, we've got Bellingham that led up the Liga. We've got Kane that's gone over to Bundesliga and scored 58, 60 goals in the season. You know, we've got Foden that's had the best season by far, won Premier League Player of the Year. You know, we've got the likes of Anthony Gordon and players like that, and Saka. You know, England had by far the best selection of attacking players in that tournament and played the most defensively.
Yeah, which is weird, man. It's just try to weird. Now, let me get to Kevin. Kevin, let me ask you this because it involves you. Graeme, what's his last name?
Greenwood?
Souness. He's got to take. Obviously, he was critical of Paul Pogba when takes a Paul Pogba stance with Kobbie Mainoo as he repeats his criticism of the ex-Man U star, but obviously criticizing Kobbie Mainoo. He says that he doesn't fully understand the position. He wonders. He empties the middle of the field, and obviously talking about his performances with England. There was certainly the last two performances for Kobbie were not the greatest. I don't know if you watch England much, but what you watch this kid play week in, week out. What do you think about him? And come out in his defense, brother.
Okay, plain and simple. Giuseppe, you can help me out here. Rice played every single minute at the tournament. For what reason? The guy's legs were gone game 2 of the group stage.
Here we go.
Adam Morton's on the bench. You can't just rely on an 18-year-old to help. Yes, Rice is top talent. Kobbie Mainoo is just that guy. Give him a few years, this guy will turn into a gem. But when you play him next to Rice, and then you have Jude and Foden play up top and a double 10 pivot, you're gonna rely on an 18-year-old to win you a Euro. You have to have legs around the team. Rice's legs were gone, couldn't fall back. Mainoo looked like shit. Plain and simple. It's pretty simple. Adam Morton's on the bench. Yes, he had a great year at Palace. Throw him on for the last 20 minutes in some of these games in the group stage for Rice. Played every minute for Rice, and it made Rice look like a bad player too. It's just lackadaisical managing on the touchline. I watch England a lot because my dad's British, and it comes to a point that I support them in tournaments because America is just dog water, and my other nationality is Sweden. And when Milo Forsberg and Zlatan got rid of the team, our team has Isak to
Isak, man.
Yeah, to play alone. So it's fun to support a club or a team that actually wants to win and get to finals. But when you have Southgate to try and support you to win a final, it's never going to happen.
G, I mean, it's got a point. Declan Rice wasn't exactly lighting it up.
I think you know what I do think Declan Rice weren't as bad as people are making out he was. I don't think he was great at all. And by his standards, I agree with you 100%. I think people gunning for Kobbie Mainoo is a load of bullshit as well, because I thought he was one of England's better players in the whole tournament. But the thing is, it's just that it all goes down to the same thing: the tactics of the manager, mate. The tactics of the manager is what the problem was. There is no way you see Phil Foden play the way he did last season, Bellingham play the way he did last season, Rice play the way he did last season, Saka play well last season, Kane play well last season. Well, Kane, he looked like, and stuff. And then all these players look bad. Like none of them, I'll argue that none of them looked good. Like Foden had moments, Jude had moments, Saka had moments. This is all the whole competition was for England. It was moments. The only reason England got to the final was moments. The goal for Saka against Switzerland that got us to penalties was a master strike. The Bellingham overhead kick to bring us to extra time, master strike. So listen, it all goes back to this. Is why we don't judge the players too much, because I think Southgate's a crap manager, and it's as simple as that. And people say, but he got you to finals and he got you to finals. It doesn't matter. He's a crap manager. Tactically, he's not a good manager, in my opinion. So for me, that's going to always hinder the players, and definitely with Rice getting put in there, and he's basically asked to do the way Southgate wants to play. He's asked to run everywhere after having a season of playing every game for Arsenal, running everywhere. It was just too much, and he didn't rotate enough in the group stages and that. And why didn't he rotate enough? Because his tactics didn't allow England to go far ahead enough to take players off, because we're always in the game. The other team was always in the game against England. Like, it was always tight. So you can't take off your best players when it's like that. We should have been going gun-ho, trying to get a 3-0 lead, and then being able to sub Rice, being able to sub off a Saka, being able to sub off a Jude. But
I guess the one thing, just to go off there though, Chris and G, like when you look at the attacking line and just the whole panel, the attacking line for England is all system players except Jude. Jude at Real Madrid is not a system player. He has crashed the box because Real Madrid didn't have a striker. When you saw him at the Euros, he was a system left winger. How are you going to transition your entire 48, 50 game season and try and play left wing for England? It just won't work. Your body's not in your IQ level. Yes, as whatever type of player you are, cannot transition that fast compared to national football to club football. It just won't work. You never see a player transitions positions that fast and just look brilliant.
Even to back Saka up, like, I know he's Arsenal boy, so I always have a bit more heart to him. But to back Saka up, I'm not going to lie, if we had an actual striker on the pitch like Ollie Watkins most of the time, or even an Ivan Toney, mate, like, I think he could have had like 5-6 assists in a competition. Like, there was like so many times in games he was getting the ball in the box and there was just no one there.
Kane was on the top of the 18 when he was supposed to be in the box.
So, listen,
I got you. Now, to finish off with England, of course, I want you guys to give me your main candidate for this job. So, G, go on, mate.
Are we talking realistic, or who are we?
No, just who you think? It's the FA, man. It's who does it? They have all the money in the world. They have.
If it's gonna be funny, and I'm gonna give you a realistic one, and then I'm gonna give you one that I'll try and do.
Okay.
The one I'll try to do next season, if he leaves Manchester City, you give everything to Pep Guardiola, and because he said he don't want to go back to Barcelona. Yeah, he won't go back to Bayern Munich. If he does leave Man City, I can see him going internationally. And why wouldn't he go to this England team where he has a few of the players in there and stuff? And he likes living in England and stuff. So it's a great opportunity. That would be my heart. What I'd love to see. What realistically, who I'd go for is probably Graham Potter.
Yeah, well, he's still getting paid by Chelsea, by the way, over 200K a week.
Or Eddie Howe.
Hey man, be quiet, man. Go and move on. You only get one pick. But Eddie's certainly on that list. Kevin, from your British roots, man, tell me what is your dad telling you?
I think it's gonna be Luke Carsley, and so like for now, they're gonna bring him in, promote him, and say, hey, you have a year-to-year contract and see what you can do. If you play good football, you may get promoted. But same thing with I think you have to just throw 400K at him a week and just get Pep in with this squad to try and win something at 26. But it's Carsley or Potter is the only really two options I think the FA will go with, because I don't think Eddie Howe is going to leave the Newcastle board just with what they're doing there. And if he doesn't lose players, he's going to grow that team even more.
Wow. What do you think, Mark?
I think, firstly, you lot and the FA need to keep your hands off Guardiola, because he's going nowhere. We're not letting him go. We'll take him if we have to. But yeah, on a serious note, who I'd like to see, probably gone under the radar quite a lot, but I think definitely deserves a shout. Pochettino.
He's coming to America.
Is he actually coming to America? Is
Yeah,
he?
he's the number one candidate for the USA job.
Well, but not yet. But Pochettino would be one. For both.
Pochettino was one that I'd like, but obviously say he's going to Canada then.
But I guess
US.
Just before Henry goes, the one thing that you all have to know is not a single foreign manager has won the World Cup
that's true.
different nations.
How do you English folks feel about that? By the way, I mean, I have an old guy, Newcastle fan. He's my guy. He's all about English, man. English this, English that. So, what do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, as an England team, you want to have kind of an English manager. But for me, I don't think there's enough out there available that are good enough. I think we have a shortage in England of good English managers. I quite like the guy from the French league. Is it Will Still? I really like him, but I don't even think he's got his coaching badges yet, has he?
No.
I am a firm believer as well that you should have to be from the country that you
really.
I believe it should be a rule. You have to. The players have to be from the country, or at least have changed citizenship to that country. And I believe the manager should be the same.
I agree with that.
And that does make sense. I don't know if they would make it into a rule. Well, obviously,
apparently, there's all them stories of like when England had Capello, they would walk in on Capello and his staff watching the Italy games, cheering Italy on, and going, "Yeah, come on!"
No way, time out. That didn't happen, man. No
bro,
way.
It probably did, bro. He's Bro, these Italians are, bro. They're brazy, bro.
Like, well, I know they're cursing about their national team, but
that's why I just don't think like. Surely, if you're fully from there, like you want that, it's gonna be tough, isn't it? So like that's why I think that you should be internationally from that country, but it doesn't matter. It's not the rule, but like I just believe that it should be like that, and you should aim for that minimum. That should be the aim for the country.
Yeah, that's interesting. Henry, what's your pick, man, for the England managerial position?
First of all, with everyone saying Pep, I'm gonna throw one in because of some Liverpool fan. It will never happen because he's taken a break, and I do think Klopp will do well with England. But if I'm being realistic, from what I've seen of Lee Carsley in terms of the way he won England the under 21 Euros, he can do very well with attacking players, and I really do think he'll be given the job now, and then I think eventually it will be. You're not going to like this, but I think he will be Eddie Howe in the future. But I think Carsley will manager for a couple of years.
If you think this is simple, man, you can overthink. I mean, obviously, Klopp is an option, very much an option, but he wants to take a break, so it makes no sense. But if you want English only, it has to be Eddie Howe. He's the one that's been probably the most successful. Well, you got Graham Potter, but I mean,
could you not argue that Dyche has probably had a better season than Eddie Howe last season?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying, man.
Turning that relegated sort of Everton around.
Well, but if you look at last season, obviously Newcastle finished seventh. I think it was seventh, and so I guess yes. But if you compare it to the Newcastle of 5-6 years ago, then that's a big. But certainly, 2 seasons ago, finishing Champions League, you can tell that that's a big improvement.
I'll tell you an English manager to throw in the hat. Gary O'Neill.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Gary O'Neill, that would be in. Oh yeah, you're right.
I think that's someone who could, because I actually highly rate him. I just think he's a bit inexperienced at the moment. But I think for England, I think with the players, and he don't have to. I think he could do all right.
Yeah. All right. G, you got to dip in 15 minutes, so let's get into Arsenal, and then we're going to continue to the rest of the teams. Your lot is linked with every player in the world right now, man, and you have signed 0. Nico Williams, apparently you're like, which is an amazing player, but are you going to get him? Mikel Merino, former Newcastle United player, he was a bum, and then all of a sudden the Spanish manager De La Fuente, called him in for the squad. He's all of a sudden a European champion, so he's in your radar. Calafiori, man, are you going to sign him? Yes or no? What's happening? You did an experiment where you posted a picture of you when you were little, which I knew it, by the way, and I told
Yeah, I
you.
know,
I knew that was you. And the media went crazy saying that he's an Arsenal fan and he's since birth. And then you debunked all the ITKs saying, well, that was me when I was little. You guys ran with it, whatever. But it's clear that he wants to. I mean, I don't know if he wants to join, but he's been linked with you guys negotiating for a while. Are you going to get the deal done? Yes or no? Because I'm sure City are there to take a deal. Man, you sign everything that breathes. So, come on.
You can keep calamari.
There you go. So what's going on, bro?
Listen. For me, I don't think Arsenal have actually been linked with every player. I think that's just the Arsenal fans taking over Twitter and also a lot of people on Twitter, like, they know that Arsenal fans, like a lot of Arsenal youngsters and that, like, definitely these Twitter boys, they click on everything. They get onto everything, right? So they know to put stories out about Arsenal. No credible sources have really put anything out apart from Calafiori. I think Calafiori is going to happen. I think we've already agreed. I think I personally believe it's pretty much there or thereabouts done. I think we're just waiting for Bologna, and out of respect for Bologna, trying to do Basel with this fee because they've got a 50% sell-on fee with Basel. So I think they're trying to scare Basel and saying, well, we won't sell him unless you lower it to say 30% or something. So Basel think, oh, well, it's better than getting no money sort of thing. But I think Calafiori will sign. I think it'll be a great signing. I don't know with Arsenal, man, because Arsenal keep their cards close to their chest, man. Like, even the Calafiori stuff, it didn't come out from an English source. It come out from Italian sources, which means they got it from Bologna themselves. That means, like, Arsenal don't seem to the recent years, definitely under Arteta, we don't seem to show our cards. Like Havertz last season, it come out of nowhere, absolutely nowhere. Havertz come. Declan Rice had a bit more hype to it, but then people were like, that's just bull crap. Then we end up getting him. Raya come out of nowhere. So that's what I think is going to happen with Arsenal this year again. I think we will sign players. I ain't panicking yet because I don't think we're going to go and not sign any players. I think that's ludicrous. But yeah, right. Listen, I'll be happy with Calafiori as a signing 100%. I really want him as an Italian. I really want him. When the moon hits the sky like a bigger pizza pie, that's Calafiori.
There you go. And by the way, this is Derek the Mighty Win, the old guy. He's the old man. He's a Newcastle fan. He's been doing.
He looks younger than you, Chris. What are you talking about?
Oh man, see that's that.
Thank you, Giuseppe.
Look at this gooner trying to become your best friend, man. But the Mirror Football is reporting Arsenal want to complete the deal for Calafiori, but with the two sides still far apart on their valuations. The defender is reporting for Bologna's preseason, obviously. But
I know you're not English, but brother, the Mirror. The Mirror's
the sun.
But it's just, I mean, again, that's the thing, because you're gonna get everybody has an opinion about the Daily Mail, about everybody, so you gotta believe something.
The Mirror. I don't ever believe the Mirror. I'll tell you that. I don't ever believe the Mirror. Listen, I think that if it was far apart like that, Fabrizio would have already tweeted about it. David Ornstein would have already tweeted about it. So I don't think that's really the case. I think that it's panic, and they're like, Arsenal fans are panicking. Let's put out this, and then all the Arsenal fans will jump on it, and we'll get loads of traction. Also, back to what you said about Nico Williams. I'd love Nico Williams. It's just peak because he's Spanish, and Barcelona want him, and they really want him bad. So getting him is near on impossible.
The TikTok funding.
What was that?
So a lot of fans on Barcelona's TikTok are donating these like emoji things, which are money, and they've been donating to sign the Nico Williams fund.
Same thing like when Messi left. It's the same thing. Nico Williams will be a Barcelona player in a few weeks.
Yeah.
It sucks,
weird,
but like it's one of those things that you like. The same thing, like if Foden never wanted to leave City, he probably won't. It won't happen. He's born and raised there. Nico Williams won't leave Spain.
Yeah, I don't think so. I would if I'm Arsenal. Maybe Arsenal go and say if they get in, we try and sweep in and grab a Rafinha off them or something like that. I can see something like that happening.
Rafinha's good, man. Rafinha's good.
And then we say Spurs are being Spursy, but Arsenal are being Arsenally here. And all of these dealings, they never ever, we saw it with Rice, where
they got it done, man.
Eventually, yeah, the bid 80 million or something. We're not going above 90. Oh, well, go on. We're not going above 100. And they're fanny on instead of getting the job done.
Well,
If
West Ham did. I'm gonna get
put the money down to Bologna now. Calafiori would be there.
They can't get the job done on the pitch either.
Oh, so we got to come on, man. Hey, they got close. They did bottle the first one last year. It wasn't a bottle job.
As far as Arsenal's concerned, unless David Ornstein sees it, it ain't gonna happen.
No,
because he's in that pocket.
He got all the info. Well, all right. Well, Mikel Merino, also former Newcastle United player. I guess would you be interested in him, GP?
Yeah, listen, to be honest, I wouldn't mind him purely for the fact of it brings a bit of experience into the midfield. It also, the price that we have to, that he's quoted at 30 million euros or something.
But don't you think Luis Enrique is going to see this? Sorry to cut you off. Don't you think Luis Enrique, he had a terrible first year at PSG, but don't you think Luis Enrique is going to see this performance and be like, I have a player in him and I'm going to keep him and keep him and the two youngsters around him and just build off of that? Like, I don't think Luis Enrique is going to let Mourinho leave, but that's just my take.
Is Luis Enrique the manager of?
No.
Yes. Isn't
Okay,
Enrique?
No.
No, he's
Enrique's
Luis
PSG manager.
PSG.
No, he plays for the guy we're talking about.
Yeah, but Marino doesn't play for PSG, man.
Oh, we're talking about different players.
You're on
Yeah, you're talking about different players. Come on, man.
But yeah, no, listen.
Typical American. Stick to baseball, man. Come on.
Yeah, no, but I think
he's a Real Sociedad.
I think it'll be a decent
wrong player.
signing. And I've been reading and listening to a lot of Real Sociedad fans, and a lot of them say he's more important to their midfield than Zubimendi, which is another player that I wouldn't have minded getting. So, listen, I think it'd be a decent addition to our squad. I wouldn't be against it. I still would have liked someone a bit more like a Bruno Guimaraes, for example.
There we go. Now we're cooking with oil.
Do you think you need another 6? Because you've got Jorginho that can play that.
But he's actually an 8.
Oh, what?
Zubamendi's the 6. Marino's an 8. Yeah, Marino's an 8.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I think he's not a bad signing for 30 million. I think he's the 8 that he also gives like Rice.
It was really confusing because his number was 6 for Spain.
The modern vernacular, 6s and 8s, they're both the same position, except one decides to stay back and defend, and the other decides to go carry the ball forward. It's a load of bullshit, man. 6 and 8, You want a defensive midfielder or an attacking midfielder?
The old man keeps it simple, man. You know he's from the 1800s.
Marino is, we were really sad to see him go from Newcastle when Ashley took the money, as was his wound. He was one of the few bright stars in the sky that was so in that team at the time. And I was pleased to see him do well when he went to Sociedad.
All right. Well,
get your hands up, Bruno.
Yeah,
no, but he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
not even if City come for him.
Yeah. Go on, Mark.
All I was going to say was, do you really need sort of that another central midfielder that can, you've got Rice, you've got Jorginho, you've got Thomas Partey, unless obviously he goes. You've got quite a few options there, and obviously only one, maybe 2 can play. So it's just whether about you actually need a player in that position, and maybe not focus more on a striker.
I think we need both, to be honest. I think we need both. Like,
what about because also being linked to Guehi, Marc Guehi from Crystal Palace. So do you need a center back?
No,
you need everything, man.
No, I think we get for me personally. If I had to say who we need a goalkeeper. Looks like we're signing the young English boy, just because we're gonna sell Ramsdale. We need a defender, which would be Calafiori. We need a midfielder. We need a striker, which for me should be Gyökeres. and then we need a winger to back up Saka. So like, it
Yeah,
don't have to be like a superstar winger. It doesn't have to be, but it has to be someone decent that can. But you say a lot, but it's not. We don't need to go and spend really stupid amounts of every.
Well,
position.
let me ask you this.
We are all striving to be like City, which means not just having 11 players on the pitch.
There you go. Look at that. You say that now. The guy below me is drinking his drink. Like, he's just enjoying what you're saying, man.
Well, of course, because
carry on.
we have to have the strength and depth.
Yeah.
You've got to know that when you're putting somebody on the bench, it's not a massive step down from what's on the pitch.
Yeah.
So Arsenal, with Odegaard and Rice, Jorginho, perhaps. I'm not a big fan, to be honest. But there still needs to, what happened, suspensions, injuries. You've got to have a bench as well as a first team.
Shout out to everybody, 294 people watching. So nice viewing, everybody. Please hit the likes. We have all these guys' channels linked in the description, so go subscribe to those guys. Amazing content. Kevin doesn't do anything. He just he just shows up here. He's a football uncensored contributor, man. That's what Talk TV would say. But
he's on mute.
No, he's not on mute, man.
I'm here.
He's good. Last but not least, before you go, Giuseppe, because you're talking about you need this guy, you need that, you want to save money too. You win a lot, man. But Nicolas Pepe, he admits that people at Arsenal made him want to quit football at one point. And he is a winger. He's a forward. What happened there, brother?
He ain't got the minerals, mate. How can people at a club not make you want to give up on playing football? It means you ain't got the balls, mate. Like, I'm sorry. This is welcome to. No, I'm being honest though. Welcome to the big leagues, mate. This ain't no team in the French league that's like just happy finishing fifth. You're at a team that want to start competing. You got a real manager that come in that wanted to fix the structure and have a serious team. You couldn't hang with the boys. Like, I'll be real. It's just you come in for the big price tag that weren't on him. Fair enough. It's not his fault. He went for that much money. But it's not like he left Arsenal and started really performing well at other places. Like, you can't use that as a thing. You didn't perform well enough. You didn't have the right attitude when playing. And you can see because look when Arsenal got rid of him and the other players, how we've progressed. So all this to me is just waffle, mate. Like,
it's bollocks.
It's like maybe we did. Maybe we dampened his confidence as a player, and maybe we made him realize he weren't as good as probably he thought he was. Maybe he come in thinking he was one of the best in the world, and he soon found out that he wasn't. But it is what it is, isn't it? I do think that it would have been nice for him to have worked out, but it didn't at the end of the day. But to still be coming out now and saying that just shows his mentality ain't there. His mentality should have been, instead of leaving the club, flopping at your next team and then going, Arsenal maybe want to quit football. You should have left and said, you know what, I'm going to prove to Arsenal fans, I'm going to prove to Arteta, I'm going to prove to Arsenal why they effed up in selling me, why they effed up with not giving me a chance. That's how a real footballer should approach it, in my opinion.
All right.
So
all right, man. Relax, man. Yeah, I know you're a little tired. You got a little baby. Is it on the way or is it here?
On the way. Five
on the way,
left.
man. You got a rude awakening coming to you, man. I'm telling you.
No.
I got 3, man. They're screaming down there as we speak. So
hey, listen, I'll be honest though. Like, I hope she don't hear this, but a pregnant wife is a good way of getting ready for it, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. She heard you. Their instincts, man, they just triple, man. So she heard you. No worries. But anyways, bro, thank you for coming on Football Uncensored. We'll see you. Hey, don't listen, man. Now you're famous now. You get on the football tears and all that stuff. You better, and that you change your number too. You know, you're a different guy now, man. So
I'm not. I'm the same guy, Chris. Listen, the fact of the matter is, you were the one who did
I left.
To do Newcastle content.
I left, man. I know I left, man. But the old man, he groomed me, man. The old man here, he groomed me, brother, into Newcastle stuff only. So, but anyways, we'll see. We'll get you back next week, man. No worries. So take care.
Brothers.
Have a good night, brother.
Sweet.
All right, there we go. That was Giuseppe from Sicilian Gunner. So go subscribe to him. Link in the description. Arsenal also got a new kit. It's looking good, but we got to move on from the Gooners. Let's talk a little bit
Wait,
about.
pause real fast. Pause. You think that black and red, white, and green thing is good looking?
No, it wasn't, but I was trying to be nice.
Oh
man,
my
to
God,
that.
looks like
I like when Ajax did it because they did it for a reason. They did it.
It wasn't. It's not the great look. It looks like a training kit, to be honest with you.
It looks like a deodorant bottle.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, man. But let's talk a little bit about the Ballon d'Or and where that might be leading. I know some people say, well, that's a BS trophy. A BS trophy doesn't matter. Reporters get together and do that. Well, it does help. Listen, it's like the Oscars. I mean, you might want to talk shite about it, but it is. But actors and in this case, footballers, they really think it's a prestigious trophy. So footballers and fans care about it, to be honest, as much as they say they hate it. So it is interesting because Messi doesn't exist no more. He just won the Copa America. Congrats, but he's not going to win it because of that. Cristiano Ronaldo, obviously, he's off the radar. And so now the Earthlings are looking to win this trophy. One name in particular, it is Rodri. Even though he had to come off the pitch on the final, but he still was relevant for this team to win the Euros. So I'm going to start with you, City Bevo Mark. Talk to me, man. Should he win the Ballon d'Or?
Absolutely. What the guy has done in the last year is it's unheard of. Since the start of 2023, we're halfway through 2024. Since the start of 2023, he's lost 4 games for club and country. 4 games in a year and a half. That is phenomenal, and it doesn't get spoken about enough. But the reasons behind why is he's the machine in that team. He's any team he plays for, whether it be Spain or City, he is the cog in that team. He makes that team do things. He's by far City's most important player, ahead of Haaland, ahead of Foden, ahead of Kevin De Bruyne. And the reasons why I say that, we didn't have Kevin De Bruyne for 6 months and we were still winning games. We didn't have Haaland for 2 months. We were still winning games. We took Rodri out for 3 games. We lost all 3 games.
Yeah. Now,
what he does on the football pitch might not be glamorous. It's not the 60, 70 goals a season. It's not the 30 assists. It's not the tricks or anything like that. He's just a steady, consistent player. And when he does score, you never see him score a tap-in. It's always a banger. It's always some kind of worldie that he puts in, and it's always a clutch moment, whether that be like against Arsenal at the Emirates or when we played Bayern Munich in the Champions League quarterfinals or the Champions League final. He delivers when he needs to deliver, and he's just, for me, if he continues on this path, he will go down as the greatest defensive midfielder that's ever existed in football.
Damn.
Michael Carrick.
We got Xavi Hernandez. You got Iniesta.
Defensive midfielder.
Defensive. So
you were just saying there, Mark. I agree. By the way, he should walk it. There's no doubt. He's won his domestic trophy. He's won the continental league trophy with his.
It's the individual awards as well. We won the player of the tournament at the Euros and just everything.
So for all of those reasons, I compare him to Kanté. Rodri is as important to City as Kanté was to Chelsea and to France when France were the great France.
And Chelsea won the Champions League and stuff like that. You mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I would, as much, how much I love N'Golo Kanté, man. I really love him.
And he never got a mention because of Ronaldo and Messi at the time.
Exactly. It wasn't even close. They weren't going to put N'Golo Kante there. But I'd rather have Rodri, to be honest. He has everything.
Yeah, the one thing that I'd say that Rodri had over Kante is he's got the goals and the assists. Kante throughout his career didn't really have. He wasn't
he was a 6 as you young'uns.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that could go down to style of play as well, because he was actually forced to play as a 6 most of the time. Whereas when City play, everyone's at the pitch around the box, so even the centre backs are turning into midfielders. So, but yeah, I think the one thing that Rodri has sort of over sort of Kante is the goals. I think last season it was something like 14 goals and 12 assists, or 15 goals and 12 assists, or something for a DM. That's crazy numbers.
Yeah.
Except that it's a DM for Man City.
Yeah,
which helps.
Well, yeah, it does help. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to show Arsenal. My computer is acting up. They're horrible kits. Some people commented they want to see it, but I will try to pull it up as if I can. I'm trying to. My screen is really flickering. But Henry, what do you think about the Ballon d'Or, man? What is your thoughts?
This is not who I want to win it, but this is who I think will win it. I think it will be Vinicius Junior, but I think Roger should win it. I can see it being quite similar to 2018-19 when it was like neck and neck between Messi and Van Dijk in terms of like points. I think Vinicius will win it because of the Champions League. But for me, it has to be Rodri. Vinicius wasn't as important to Real Madrid as Bellingham was in that Champions League win.
So
yeah. Well, so nobody's mentioning Bellingham.
The one thing that I would say is last season when Haaland should have won the Ballon d'Or, the reason why they gave it to Messi was because of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Now you could argue sort of the same point with Rodri. Rodri's won the Euros, but he didn't win the Champions League, but he did win the Premier League. But in the year that sort of Haaland should have won it, that was the year that we did the treble. So I think there has to be a sort of balance of sort of club trophies and international trophies. I think that's the way that they probably look at it. Now, all I'd say on that is Vinicius didn't win the Copa America, obviously.
It was bad. It was horrible.
Oh yeah. The Brazil weren't great in that tournament at all.
And I think Bellingham was the most important player at Real Madrid. This is Arsenal's shirt, by the way. It looks like a training shirt, man. To be honest with you, look at Saka. Saka could be mentioned. No,
that pattern on the sides, not the color one, the white pattern. It makes zero sense.
Yeah. It
Chris,
literally looks like
Google Lynx deodorant.
Oh no,
Lynx,
I know you. Is it the
Lynx Africa?
The Lynx Africa, yeah.
Lynx
Yeah.
Africa, yeah.
It looks like it's a Lynx Africa sponsorship.
Oh, it is a look at that. So we're going.
Oh,
Is that because the team stink?
Look at that, man. Links deodorant.
Is that a new sponsor or something?
Look at it. It's just so bad. Oh, it's so bad.
I would have never known. I would have never known about that. But that is the shirt, ladies and gentlemen. So I forgot about it to bring it up to Giuseppe, but I'm sure
Have
he
you
wouldn't.
seen the other one, Chris? I've just put it up there for you.
Put it up where? Oh, there you go. Oh, this is the other one.
That's the pre-match. Yeah. Oh God, it's so
Pre-match.
No way, man. Are you kidding me?
I think they have a kid as a graphic designer just with colors.
Betsy, my wife is in the chat. She's Mexican. She said, I thought that was the Mexican shirt, the previous one. Because it does look like that. Yeah. No, it's just true.
This kid
It
reminds
looks like
me
they've
of
just got a
Liverpool.
kid to just draw it out.
That's
It does remind me of Liverpool a couple of years ago. We had a kit which looked like you were either half drugged or an optical illusion. It looks like if I stare at it hard enough, I'm going to be
No, but this is unbelievable. This shirt here, man, looks like nothing. like puke, like a
You know
a
when all
salad.
the when all the clubs at the end of the or like the beginning of like mid-December time when the Chinese New Year comes out and they all come out with these ugly trainers.
God, you've taken it down. I was going to say
What
everybody's
was that?
remarking. Put it back up a bit. You see there. Everybody's remarking about what that looks like.
No. Yeah, well, it's definitely a shirt that that's not good. It's not cool to look at, to be honest with you. I mean, I really don't understand it. I know that sometimes they have these purposes that they have their, I guess, their own agenda behind all these shirts, but at least make it look good, man. It doesn't matter what you support or you trying to, promote. This just doesn't look good. I mean, I don't know. 20 years from now, somebody's gonna say, "Look, this shirt. Remember this stupid shirt."
I think there's somebody out there saying, "Let's just see how far we can push these fans. See what we can get them to buy."
I'm telling you. All right. So in different topics.
Wait, the one thing before just
go on.
No one said it, and it's a hot take that I have. I put money on it. Danny Carvajal. Why is he not in the mention of 2 assists in a semifinal and the assist to win the Champions League and then wins the yes, he's a right back, but the guy has won everything this year.
True.
And he is not even in the contention, and they would not be in that final if it wasn't for Jose Lu.
I think he'll be top five. He should be.
He'll be on that list.
He has to be up there. But yes, I understand why Rodri because of the winning stats, but Danny Carvajal should be up there in these rankings of the season he had and his age. And this guy is just.
But he's old. That's the thing. It's like the mighty winning the pundit of the year award. It's
32. But
he's Carvajal.
Yeah. But listen, we got 331 people watching overall, so appreciate that. And let's get those likes up. I guess we got to move on to more news. Mason Greenwood is on his way to. He's basically gonna play for Marseille. Interesting, Kevin. I mean, is this just a PR thing, man? You just want to get rid of him?
He was never gonna play another minute at United. It would never be. You would never be allowed. The PR that you would have and the abuse that the player would get. Yeah. United's lawyers would never allow that, and he would never walk in. He would even when he came back to training, he was in a private sector of Carrington. It was just complete yes, the PR that went into this thing, I don't even like talking about it, but it's just the PR was over the top. He went away, played good at Getafe, knew he was going to sign to a team, and we got 50 million. It's free 50 million. Have fun, enjoy France. You'll kill it there, but you're not coming back to England ever.
Never going to play. Mark, I mean, never play in England again.
The PR that he's going to get.
No, I agree.
I don't think the clubs couldn't stand the PR.
Yeah, but PR is everywhere, man. This is not a PR doesn't exist just in England.
But it's an English thing. He's an English player. He grew up in an English team. Like the amount of I think what we're all getting here is it's not the player. It's the picture of the club. United refunded every kit that they bought that they sold. I got £65 when I bought a shirt.
You were happy about that, don't lie.
The guy. The thing that I'd say is the English media, for anybody that doesn't know over in America, the English media are ruthless.
They will attack you.
Absolutely, the English media jump on absolutely anything and everything, and it would have never have. The media would have never have let it settle.
Remember the Adam Johnson story? He's still obviously in prison, but
it still gets spoken about.
It's insane. 12 years ago now.
It's insane that. So, do you agree or you don't agree with this situation with the media being like that?
I. At the end of the day, allegedly he did what he did. I've seen things online floating around, but I'm certainly not going to sort of comment on what those were. But what I would say is I think it's too public with things that have been seen and things, and I think it would be wrong for him to come back to England, not just for the club or whatever that he goes to, which will have so much negative publicity, but also for him as a player. I think him as a player, he needs to, you know, at the end of the day, he's got a child now. He's still with the girl. You know, and he would never be made to feel welcome, I don't think. So I think, I can't see him coming back to England.
All right, that's an interesting take. Henry, go on, Mighty Wayne.
Just to play devil's advocate, he wasn't found guilty of any of those charges.
No, you're correct. You're correct. But what I would say,
he wasn't found guilty.
No, you're absolutely right.
Should it not be innocent and proven guilty? I don't know. I'm just saying.
Well, you
know, we know all the background to the story and everything.
It's just PR. To me, it's just PR. It's PR.
You'll know yourself though as well in that you know, City have been charged 115 charges. If we get found innocent, will people really think that we're innocent?
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. You're right. I'll give you that.
As a City fan,
I know, but that's because we know City are guilty.
You see, there you go.
This is the thing. So, like, even if we get proven innocent, there'll always be the people out there, which is like, oh, you paid them off, you did this,
right.
And I think it's always you're guilty until you're proven innocent, and but even when you're proven innocent, you're still guilty. So it's not going to be a win-win for him.
There's a basic reason of why, if you guys don't know, just as a United fan, I did a lot of research about this to try and find as much as I could just to see if he ever would come back. The reason why he wasn't found guilty is the mother of his child took off 14 items of evidence from the case.
Yeah.
So basically all the evidence that the court and the police had were taken away, and then the case had to get dropped. So pretty much, I hate talking about it, but it
I think we're all pretty familiar with all of the background, but all I'm saying is
not guilty, but it's
But listen, this is Football Uncensored, man. We're going to talk about things that we don't want to talk about at times, but it is what it is. We're going to have another thick subject later on in a minute. But just quickly, Leny Yoro, you like him? Is he amazing? Is he the next? What do you think, man? He's already basically signed for you? So
he's there, yeah. I think it's a great deal.
You don't seem too excited.
No, I'm just impressed. I'm more sake impressed that people are going to say all over social media that we overpaid, but we paid $65,000 more a week and £12 million more to steal him off Real Madrid. If you say you can't outbid Real Madrid, the club that's going to win the Champions League again next year probably, and win the league, and probably win their domestic, compared to a team that's battling to get back into prime real estate.
Poor Man U.
It's the other one that gets me, that Zerkey, when you paid more than his release clause. It's like
that's unbelievable. Yeah, he did do that. But with Leny Yoro, man, with Real Madrid were interested. They wanted him, but they weren't wanting him like, I'm gonna pay whatever. They said, I'm gonna give you 20 million. I'm gonna give you 20 million. 20 million now, or you sign free next year. I'm not gonna do, because obviously they could wait. They wanted to wait another season if they wanted more money. Man U said, no, man, take my money now, and paid how much? Over 50 for him.
We paid 56, and Real Madrid put in a 45 million bid.
No, but look, okay, but tell me how you impressed, and that's good business for Man U when the kid is going to be free next season. You're paying 50 million for a guy that's going to be free next season. Does that make sense to you?
Because last year with the Glazers, we probably put an 80 in. So it's just interesting to see what the change is and how fast these deals are going through.
All right,
and for him to only be on 140 a week is insane. For United,
only, man, can you believe that? What he's saying? Only 140 a week. This kid's rich.
Do you understand the stature of United?
Yeah, I understand that. But these players
is like 60,000 at any other club.
The stature would mean a lot more if the players were getting paid less just to join Man United.
140 is low for United.
Yeah, well,
The
that's
stature
fine.
of United is insane. The money, that's not an issue. It's players that are coming in and getting $375 a week or $250 a week. 140 is like nothing for United.
Weren't you guilty of FFP not that long ago?
Huh?
Oh no, man!
Weren't
They
you
gonna pay
guilty of
that.
FFP not that long ago?
They're immune. They're
They
immune.
gonna pay-
I thought money wasn't an issue.
Just
They
go into
got
more
the shot. They got the
More
shot.
debt,
They got
more
the.
debt.
It's like the COVID shot, man. They're immune to it.
Boils my, you know what, I tell you. But by the way, Newcastle United are still the only British team ever to break the world transfer record.
That's what
Us,
Alan
little
Shearer
old
like to do.
Newcastle United.
But that's with inflation, though, man. Now people have paid more, whatever, for Alan Shearer to
You
Blackburn.
can only break the record at the time.
Yeah, whatever. But more Man U news. I think that
You
is
don't
it.
get you don't get a second class goalie for what we paid for Shearer now, man.
Yeah, seriously.
No, you're right.
The biggest news that I'm excited for is Manuel Agate. That guy is going. If he comes in, he will transform. You fucking put Scott on the bench. Finally.
Scott McTominay is going to get his contract renewed. By the way, did you know
Scott's
that?
going to Fulham. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is going to West Ham.
Yeah, so no. So Ten Hag wants Scott McTominay to get his contract renewed because he wants to keep him there. He's
Who is this by? Is this the son?
No, man. Listen, I just trust me when I'm saying. I believe it was Fabrizio Romano saying that.
McTominay is to Ten Hag what Longstaff is to Howe.
Oh man, this is not good.
It's a player that I just don't like. He always comes
what do you
off
think? Just quickly before we move on to some other news, the final news. What do you think about Harry Maguire, man? He's been on the video, giving a hug to the young lads, and all of a sudden, the media says this is our captain. He should be the main guy. He should be after Ten Hag clearly wanted to get rid of him, it took the captaincy away, subbed him, and then he needed him, put him back on the pitch. And so, what do you think about him, man? Almighty Harry.
Yeah, Johnny Evans as our starting center back for 5 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
there's a bit of a squad depth issue, but that video is straight up public relations. It's just insane that people believe some of these stories. That it's Manchester United. If City did this, if Liverpool did this, they would say the same thing. It's if Joe Gomez went out there or Matip went out there, the guy that's leaving, same exact thing. If they went and hugged the youth, oh wow, look at him, he's such a great leader. No, they still want him gone. Why am I going to sign Yoro? Still be in talks with De Ligt, and then we're going to try and obviously we let Kumbala go, but then we're still trying to get another center back in. Why don't we sign 3 center backs in one transfer window and keep our captain that we don't want anymore? Oh, I wonder why. Read between the lines of these PR merchants. It's just insane.
Yeah, man. Well, talking about this type of stuff, last but not least, we got to talk about it. This is Football Uncensored, ladies and gentlemen. So, Enzo Fernandez, we don't have a Chelsea fan here, but Enzo Fernandez situation scandal, some may say. A racist song sparked the dressing room revolt. There's a civil war going on right now at Chelsea Football Club. Now, this is a touchy subject for anybody. Racism should be always, denied in any football club. I mean, in the world, let alone the football club. But context is king for everything. I'm not here to excuse Enzo. The song is inappropriate, is not good. He shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have done it on social media. Kid, put your damn phone down, man, for once. Stop recording. How am I celebrating doing this? That's a celebration nowadays, man. It's stupid. Celebrate, have your pint, get drunk, whatever you want to do. Stop recording yourself. Obviously, it's out, and it's certainly inappropriate. But the context that I want to put into the situation, I am South American by birth, so I know how football banter goes in South America. And the reason why I'm saying this, because now all of a sudden, all over X, there is now the Argentinian players singing a song towards Colombian players that is vulgar when you translate it into English. And let me tell you what, it is still vulgar when you sing it in Spanish. However, the reception in South America, we're not people don't go crazy or it's certainly a sexual song that they were singing towards Colombian after winning the final, Argentinians. But all South American teams do that, club-wise, country-wise, and everybody's been trying to dig into finding something else about the Argentinian squad, who obviously have a very low percentage of black or not people of color, because they do have people of color, but certainly not black or I don't know what you call African Argentinian, black Argentinians, I guess you can say. But that's the demographics. Nobody's talking about Nigeria's demographics not having any Caucasian players or anything like that. Or what about the Korean players not having any other races? I mean, it's just the way countries are. So I think it's going a little bit too far. I think that Enzo needs to be reprimanded, needs to be castigated. But I don't think this should be another Mason Greenwood, kick him out of the. I've heard today on big football YouTube channels that Enzo, if Fofana, a teammate of Enzo at Chelsea, and another teammate don't want to have him, well, it is what it is. You got to get rid of him. Well, what about Caicedo, who is black and South American, or not agreeing, but certainly putting his arm around Enzo and protecting him or backing him up, as well as Jackson, who is not South American, but he is black, also doing the same thing. So what do you do then? You know, so I think in certain things we go too far. He's a young guy, not excusing what he said, but why not educate the kid instead of annihilating him from the world? You know, so I want to get your takes on this situation, of course. That is mine. Mighty Win, what do you think about this whole deal?
Well, the whole woke agenda thing,
let's not politicize it now, but
obviously. But you're saying don't politicize it, but it's
yeah, you're right.
By the very nature of the fact, that, as you've said, in South America, it's not considered.
Let me just stop you there for a second. Let me just keep it like this. And I ask for any other South American folks to come at me and we can discuss this. You can say the N-word in South America, and it's the reaction is either whether you meant it in a good way, in a joking way, or in a bad way. That's the reaction. You get the different reactions accordingly. When I came here to America, my goodness, you couldn't even dream of joking around like that. And I understood the environment and I adjusted to it. But this is a young kid who's been in England how long? I mean, 2 years, 2 seasons, 3 maybe. So again, not excusing it, but let's educate him. Go on, Mighty Wayne. Sorry.
Yes, well, that's all I'm saying. That's the exact point that I'm making. You've just said what you've said about what's considered acceptable in South America, which isn't acceptable in polite society in England now, in Britain now, in Europe now, FIFA, UEFA are going out of their way to. All of the banners are Copa America, every stadium, banners all around the stadium. Get rid of racism. Get rid of racism.
Yep.
So this could be South America catching up with the rest of the world.
Yeah, but what is considered racism to someone doesn't mean.
I'm saying unfortunate. He's been sadly captured doing something which would be unacceptable here.
Yeah.
But as you have said, is seemingly commonplace in South America.
But then
he's playing for a South American team who are doing what they do. Nobody's condoning it. But is it as bad as doing the same thing if Chelsea were doing it, for example?
Now, none of the French players, by the way, I just want to put another piece of information here. There was clearly, because there was a video a while back, and that was going around again, of Pogba and Griezmann laughing between them in the national team, mocking Asian, talking or pretending to talk like an Asian and like an Asian person, and mocking the way they talk, or they would talk in English or whatever, their accent. And it wasn't criticized like that. But racism goes against all ethnicities and all races, not just one in particular.
I agree. I'm just.
No, I'm just pointing that out. I'm just pointing that out. So all right, let me go to Mark here. Let me get your perspective on this thing. What do you think about this whole thing, mate?
Yeah, so from what I gather, there's a bit of sort of culture differences between sort of the Western society and sort of South American society, but regardless, it still doesn't make it right. I think what I would say on it is that racism isn't something which I would necessarily say that you need to learn about, like you need to be educated on, because that should just be natural behavior. You know, you should treat everybody the same regardless. You know, it doesn't matter to me what religion you are, what country you're from, what ethnicity you are. I think it should be instilled in everybody, and unfortunately it's not, but it should be instilled in everybody that you treat people in the same way as you would expect to be treated. And whether that's, again, a cultural thing, I don't know. What I would say is Chelsea need to handle this now in the right way. We've seen a couple of things, different circumstances, but we've seen, you know, the likes of Man United have to sort of handle the sort of certain situations in a certain way, and I think for the large parts of it, they've handled the business with, you know, Greenwood and things like that exceptionally well. Now it's Chelsea's turn to sort of handle this in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be sorted out quickly, and it needs to be sorted out the smoothest way possible. Whether that be sort of a public statement from the club, and from what I've seen and heard, I don't know if the club have made a public statement. I've not seen anything.
No, I don't think so.
They're investigating.
Yeah, this is the thing. You know, there needs to be some form of public statement, whether that be by Enzo himself, whether that be by the Argentinian national team, whether that be by Chelsea. There needs to be some kind of public statement which tries to clear it up.
When it comes to that, one of the politicians from Argentina has come out and said, we're not going to let, and I'm just paraphrasing, we're not going to let a colonial country like France or whatever, colonialist or whatever it's called, tell us how to not be racist or how to, you know what I mean? But it's kind of nonsensical anyway. The times have moved. So it's like saying, you know, all of a sudden Europe are going to be racist no matter what because they conquered the world. It's just stupid anyway. It's a poor statement by a politician of Argentina who should know better. A lot of countries in South America also are not happy about Enzo Fernandez and stuff like that. So it's not everybody. But also one thing is here that what they're saying is, and also the Paul has come out and said that Fofana and their teammates should have reached out to him instead of making it public, making it a bigger deal than what it is. That's why Enzo Fernandez made it a big deal by going live in front of the world and singing it like that. So that's another thing. And so it's an ongoing situation. Hopefully they do fix it. I'm not comfortable with castigating a player for a lifetime all of a sudden. And he shouldn't, but let me get to Kevin. Kevin, what is your take on this?
Sorry, I was just going to jump in very, very quickly.
Oh, yeah, go on, Mark.
I was just going to say, last season, I don't think Chelsea at the moment is the best of places anyway. Last season, you had 3-4 players fighting over taking a penalty. I don't think they have that togetherness that a lot of other teams do, like Arsenal, like City, where sort of everyone seems to sort of get on and sort of understand their roles and things. And I just think that Chelsea in itself at the moment is a place of massive unrest. And this is just going to add fuel to the fire.
Yeah, 100%. Kevin.
Sorry for cutting you.
No, you're fine, mate. Kevin?
It's just a lot. I work in human resources. It's my career. And this isn't an on-field decision. This isn't a manager decision. This isn't a team decision. This is a lot of the back end. If an employee of your organization is not happy and you're not going to show up to work because of an employee's relations with someone else, your organization needs to take action right away. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't know, like, it's just, that's basically what to say. Like, just to be an example, last year when Ivan Toney and Tonali both were banned, those were legal matters, and they took legal actions and banned them right away. It took 3 days for them to do. This is a legal action that they have in policies, written in their policy of an organization. Take action to that policy. Case in point, it's a disgusting thing to do. Like, racism in the current game, exactly what Wynn was saying, it's everywhere. People wear it on shirts. People don't do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts because of where you're from. I'm American and Swedish. I was raised with a very British father. It did make it simple. I have different ways of thinking. When you live somewhere else, if you go to America and you just call people names, are you going to get in trouble with police there? Yes. Because you don't have a passport of that, you're still going to get in trouble? Yes. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't like when people are trying to draw the lines of a dotted line. People unfollowed them. Yes, because you want to know why they're upset, and they took action right above. So they can see the legal side and the organization side of trying to help them make a quicker decision. It's that case or point. And that's all I got to say, really. It's just more of a disgusting thing to do.
The follow and unfollow, I mean, that's BS anyway. That's who cares about follow
Why is
or
that
unfollow?
not a thing?
No, I'm saying that's really not that important. I mean, it's not that Fofana now needs something else from Enzo for him to follow. But talking about follow or unfollow on X or Instagram,
Chris,
whatever. They are clearly upset
Chris,
about
these are social media people that have thousands of people that follow them. Thousands and millions of people follow all these athletes. If Ronaldo stopped following his underwear brand, it'd be a crazy story all around the world.
Yeah,
so
no, 100%.
They're trying to get a point across, and it's going across really well.
Well, but now, with that being said, what do you do with, because we're talking about two teammates that came out and said that retweeted or whatever, that they don't like this, but there are teammates as well that have done the opposite, like Nico Jackson and South American black person like Caicedo. So what do you do then? So I have no clue what's going to happen. I guess they're going to have to suspend him for games, take his money, whatever it is.
Mark said it pretty clearly. It's exactly like, just going from Mark's point. It's just, if a player's unhappy, you pick a side of the team, you move forward with one side. You don't go ifs, ands, or buts. You go one side as a club. You make the decision. You stick with that.
So you will feel comfortable. You will feel comfortable. No, players. I don't know. We're talking about two players that came out. Who else is the players that are publicly outraged about this? We gotta see what we're looking at. There's clearly Fofana is one of them. I can't remember the other guy's name. And also Chelsea fans. This is a very dividing subject because you look at the comments. Chelsea fans talking about these players that don't like this, which the majority didn't, to be honest. Saying, "Man, get back to work because you're injured all the time or whatever," which is not necessarily it's not a good thing. This shouldn't be tolerated anyway. But I'm more on the. I'm asking you. So you feel if these two teammates, 3-4 teammates don't want to play with him, you would feel comfortable with saying Enzo Fernandez needs to leave Chelsea and go to another country? Would you feel good?
I don't think it's about the players. This is bigger than which players want to play with him. This is about a fan base, a club, and the negative impact that it could have publicly on the club if they keep him. Just like I mentioned before about the same with Mason Greenwood and United, that they handled that superbly in the sense of they realised straight away that he wouldn't be accepted by the fans back at the club, and they made the decision to send him to play at a different club. And I think whatever decision Chelsea make, they need to make that fast. They need to make a public statement, and they need to show like they're acting on it, and they're not just because at the moment there's a lot of unrest. I'd say with from what I've seen with Chelsea fans where they don't know what's happening. There's been no public statement from the club to say,
well, they're investigating.
We accept that this was wrong, or we're
Well,
going
they
to
obviously
nation or whatever it may be.
I'd say they're going to say that it's wrong, and they're going to be going to that. Let me tell Henry, what do you think about this whole situation, man?
I was going to say, especially because I'm half French. When I went back to see my mum last week, I was watching the news, and there was a lot of talk about what had gone on with Enzo Fernandez, and especially, there's quite a number of French players in the Chelsea squad. You've got Wesley Fofana, who, of course, retweeted the video with outrage. Then you had Koundé respond from Barcelona.
Yeah.
And then you got Badiashile, French as well. You got Disassi, and you got Gusto as well. So there's a lot of French players. So all of them, it's going to hurt them because the song is basically saying they're not French.
Let's not beat around the bush with it. These aren't, and again, this is in no way racist. These aren't white French players. These are black French players that play for Chelsea, and so it seemed. Oh, and Nkunku, yeah.
Of course, why did I forget?
So all of this very much would feel directed towards them.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly. They are the affected,
because
parties.
They're going to be made to feel like, I play for the French national team. They might feel like they're not actually French because of their song. For me, even though they might, I think everyone in their past in their past, and with generations are going to have a different nationality down the line. It does not mean that I'm that.
Americans, look at the American national team.
I know, but
all
for
over the
example,
place.
they might have African in their past, but they were born in France, and I believe because they're born in France,
100%.
they feel
They're
French.
French.
They're French.
Yeah, that's as simple as they're French. This was a
Their
very
first
poor,
language is French.
100%. That
100%. So they're going to feel really hard done by,
Yeah.
But on what you said earlier, Chris, I don't think Enzo should be removed, but I think what should happen is there needs to be a lot of education into the aspect of, as Bevo said earlier, you shouldn't educate people on racism because that should be human instinct. That's not okay. But in terms of, I think you should educate him. What you said earlier about what happens in South America, that kind of stuff is not tolerated at all, and that. And I think it may be good to educate and to get the Sassy and Kunku, these players, to talk to Enzo how they felt about that song, and then Enzo will realise how that impacted his teammates, and then I think he won't do it again.
Yes, so just like that right there, that's basically what I was saying more and on like the legal side and the actual organization side. But the one thing that you have to realize of what Mark was saying is, if you are a fan that you were racially abused in your past life, and you're a Chelsea fan, and you go to Stamford Bridge and you see Enzo wearing that shirt, how do you feel? Like that's the thing that people like what people aren't saying what Mark is saying. It's not just the players; it's the people that show up every week to buy the tickets, to buy the merch that are they're going to lose so much money and so much picture around them, and it's going to be Chelsea sport racists. Like, that's going to be a PR line, and it's going to be insane. It's going to be terrible.
I understand that, but then we get to the same point. I think is the what they're going to do. What is his punishment going to be is in question here, not whether what he did was wrong or not. But you're saying that they're going to lose money, so you gotta ruin this guy's life.
No,
over a song that he was clearly ignorant about.
What you need to do is then say you make what the club can easily do, and what United did, the same thing what they did, is you say you made a decision, you don't say that to the press, like you keep your decision enclosed, you make the decision, you take him out of the spotlight, he doesn't play for a few months, doesn't train with the team, you don't see him in pictures, and then you start figuring out in the back end, because this should not just be.
But that's essentially what you're saying. Get rid of him.
You don't have to get rid of him. You do not have to get rid of him. You can still be a player, still get paid. What you need to do is get rid of out of the spotlight. So then this whole racism thing of a club of Chelsea is not the main thing. Come August 15th, when the Premier League starts, they're going to say, okay, cool, Enzo's not in the 18-man squad. Are people going to forget about this story in 3 months? Most likely of how PR news works. What you need to do then is you need to make sure everyone in your organization is happy and able to come to work and willing to trust the organization that pays them. And that is what they're going to lose a lot of if the players, like what Mark and Henry are saying, is there's 6 players that are on the 18-man squad, usually on a week-to-week basis, that are French, that easily can get racially abused on a week-to-week basis by Twitter X people with the avatar of a random picture of a player that they don't even like. If it comes to that part, that what you're missing is that is straight up racial abuse that they get on a week-to-week basis, and you want to work with someone that did it to you. You need to remove them and then try and work them back in slowly but surely to realize what Enzo did to the players affected them mentally and not just physically. When they want to try and play for 18.
I think what you're trying to do there, Kev, you're trying to find some sort of middle way out of this.
Well, if
that's the way it needs to be, because Enzo Fernandez is worth a lot of money.
For a start, if you're going to take him out of your playing squad, you're going to keep the player, but take him out of your playing squad and have him, I don't know, training with the reserves or whatever. He's going to lose all of that
value.
match play,
and value,
sort of fitness and awareness, everything else that goes with actually physically playing top class football. He's going to lose all of that. So even if he comes back after 18 months, he's not. I mean, we'll have a very good chance of seeing how that works, by the way, with Tonali when he comes back from his gambling ban, because for 12 months now, he's been just training with the team and never having a match game.
I'm not saying
be very interesting to see how he comes back and whether he's the same player that he was. But to me, with this Enzo thing, Chelsea have to decide one way or the other. We're going to protect him, and he's still our player. And, we've been through it all with him and told him it's wrong, it's unacceptable. We'll draw a line under it, make sure it doesn't happen again. Or they say it's unacceptable and they get rid.
What I would say is I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of a Chelsea fan now. And think about how this, and think about how if a player from City would have said something like that, and what I would expect as a fan of City for City to do. Now, what I'd say on that is, in 3 days' time, it's been a week since Argentina won the Copa America. We're almost a week past this point now, and there's still been no public.
Well, I guess they want to find out what's exactly. I mean, really, it's already there. He said what he said. There's no investigation, to be honest. I mean, the FIFA is doing an investigation. I don't know what they investigate. I think what they just say is what the punishment. They're thinking what the punishment is going to be.
But what I would say is as a club, they do have not just a duty of care to the players, but they also have a duty of care to the fans.
Yeah.
And the fans deserve to know that the club is acting on it and not just having hearsay from different sources. The club need to make a public announcement and say, this is what the plan is, this is what we're doing. Because a couple of days, 2-3 days later, you could probably say, okay, well, we need to have a think about what we're doing now. It's been nearly a week.
I think the last thing go on there is just what people are not understanding, maybe in the comments, or maybe I'm just not being clear, is any UEFA ground that has these permissions to use their club football structure around them to then do policy laws, is if you do a gesture or say words to a player and you get caught, you're banned from that ground. So a player on a bus can yell at his teammates and not do anything. I think that's what a lot of people are doing. So
it goes to a much more global
so
reach
much
as
more,
well.
yes.
It goes to a much more global reach as well. If a fan says it in a football stadium, that fan gets banned for life. But
That's right.
Somebody that has a global outreach of thousands upon thousands of people watching this video, it's like you can't it's not one rule for one and one for another.
That's good
It's the
for it.
same rule.
There's a fair. No, it isn't though. It isn't because you're not. No, footballers are not getting banned for life to not play the sport under FIFA or whatever.
No,
you know,
I'm saying like
and fans, they get sent forever. They never go to another. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, but I think what he's trying to say is just racism itself is one rule and should be
Oh
followed.
yeah, that's 100%.
Yeah.
That's not even. Well, listen, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Enzo Fernandez, Chelsea. I'm assuming fans are waiting for something to be said in the media. I would assume they would try to fix this before the preseason, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Well, look, it's been a great show, full of super opinionated debates and, and lovely. We were talking about football. And unfortunately, sometimes some dummies say and do stuff out there related to football, and we have to talk about that. Unfortunately, we can't just stick to football and stuff that goes on in the pitch, but hopefully we won't have to deal with this again. We'll have to see. I'm sure we're going to talk about it once the sanction comes out about Enzo Fernandez and stuff like that. But thank you so much to City Bebo TV, Mark, of course. Link is going to be in the description. Thank you so much to World of Football. Thank you to Kevin for coming on, of course, in the mighty win. We'll be back next week, I'm sure, with another panel debate show about whatever's happening in the Premier League. I can't wait for the Premier League to start, man. I'm telling you. Newcastle want to win the league. Come on, man. Hey, City, man.
Calm down.
Ball's going to become 5. It's all good.
Yeah, there you go. That would be crazy. 5th time in a row. That would be unprecedented in football. I don't even know in football. I'm sure in Italy they've won 5 in a row. I'm sure Bayern Munich has won 5 in a row.
Bayern Munich's 12 in a row.
Yeah, 12 in a row. Yeah, so yeah. But in England, can you imagine? Well, we have to wait and see. Thank you so much for watching.
They're after Rangers record.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you so much for watching Football Uncensored. We'll see you on the next one, folks. Bye-bye.